Welcome back to Streaming Media East 2022 here at the Westin Copley in Boston. I'm Tim Siglin, founding executive director of the not-for-profit Help Me Stream Research Foundation. I know that's a mouthful, but basically we're a 501c3 that takes in old first world gear, repackages it into streaming solutions, and sends it to places in emerging economies. With me I have Chris Knowlton, who is chief evangelist now at Panopto, right?
That's correct, yep.
And I didn't know that you'd moved to Panopto because the last tracking I had of you, after Wowza and Blue Frame was that you'd gone back to Microsoft.
I had.
And so how long have you been with Panopto now?
I think this is week 9.
Oh, wow. So it is a relatively new thing.
It is.
Good deal. Is this your first trade show, or did you go to NAB?
Didn't go to NAB. I went to something called ATD, the Association for Talent Development, which is where lots of instructors, will go. Instructional designers will go and get new information on the latest tech. Mm-hmm. That was my first time there. That was last week in Orlando. Okay. And this is my first streaming media show. Sure. Obviously, since going back to Panopto.
For a number of us, it's our first streaming media show.
In a couple of years, yeah.
So you had some really fascinating stats that you showed on the keynote presentation you did. One of which caught both my attention and Michelle, who is a high school algebra teacher, the one where it said, in that learning that you do, an hour after the teaching, only 53%, I remember? 58% retain the information.
Right. You only retain 58% of what you heard 30 minutes ago.
And then you had another stat that was part of that that said, what was it, a week later, people only?
A week later, you were down to 35% of what you had seen.
So therefore, repetition makes sense if somebody wants to do it. And part of your premise was the idea that we would record that content and then allow people to come back and rewatch it multiple times.
Yeah, that's correct. And a lot of times, I don't know about you, but a lot of times I have gone to trainings and I saw a video, or maybe it was a live training, and that's the only time I had exposure to that content. But if you capture it and then make it very accessible and searchable, you're much more likely to get a lot of value out of that content and help with that repetition so somebody can have the knowledge they need when they need it.
Sure. As a matter of fact, we did a survey last year for streaming media around enterprise, and one of the questions that we asked people was, during the pandemic, have you gone to more trade show events than you did in person? And the answer was yes. And then we said, what do you like about it? What do you dislike? One of the things people said they really disliked in the live one was not to have a chance to do question and answer. But the other thing they said that they really liked about those trade shows was the virtual ones were recorded, so they could go back and actually watch them multiple times. And some of the people said, after the first 3 or 4, I ultimately just stopped attending them live and would go watch the on-demand because I could learn at my own pace through those. And then I could send a question to the presenter with the knowledge of what that presenter had actually said.
And one of the challenges I always have at a show like this is that there are always multiple tracks going on.
Sure.
And inevitably I will want to see 2 things happening at the same time.
Right.
With on-demand or asynchronous video, you obviously have that opportunity. And to your point about maybe you can't do it all in one sitting, right?
Right.
You can hit pause.
Yeah.
Maybe it's helpful for you to have it bigger on the screen so you do captions or a screen reader. But just all these things that you can't do if it's a live stream.
True.
But you can do if it's on demand.
Now, I've worked with a number of companies who sort of have tried to attack this over the years, one of them being Sonic Foundry. And one of their big claims to fame was the ability to search through content that was on demand. Does Panopto have those kinds of options as well?
Yeah. So
agenda-based or text-based?
Yeah, we do both speech to text, so get every spoken word, as well as we do OCR on content, so any words that are shown, I will pick up as well. So if somebody's flipping through their slides fast, they don't say the keyword that you want to look for later, we've still caught it. And
because of the OCR.
Because of the OCR, and when you search for it, you'll still find it in the right place and it'll take you right.
And I think that last part is key. It's not just, this is in this hour-long video. It's, hey, you search for that particular word, now let me take you to the multiple instances where that word either showed up on screen or was said, so
Right.
it allows people to rapidly get back to where they
Exactly.
want to
It's
learn.
much like a Google search result where you see the key phrase or word in context.
Right.
So that if you remember what was sort of being said around it, you can pick out the right one from the search results and go right to that spot in the video.
Interesting. Well, hopefully later this afternoon we can have a longer conversation on that. I don't want to bore our audience, but as always, thank you very much, Chris, for being on here.
Sure, happy to stop by.
And we will be right back with our next guest.